there are many strike deck sets in Vanguard. There will be more strike deck sets in Vanguard. But the first strike deck set in Vanguard is still relevant somehow. I don't know why. I have people who approach me saying, oh, will you do an update on this video? I'm like, I've not played this deck in ages. So I went out, caught the best, and now I'm becoming the best. Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Season4 here. Today I am back to talk about Chronojet Dragon again in standard in 2025, because you people will not let me not talk about this deck. What does it take, guys? Do I need to finally go get married? Do I need to go buy a house? Do I need to migrate? Do I need to kill myself? Is that what it takes to stop it? But okay, fine. Chronojet again. Today I have gone out to capture one of Japan and Singapore's best. This man has not only played alongside legends such as Different Fight and also with Smurf 984, I think is the name. Yeah, in No Ties tournament and championships. He's not only gotten a tie at 7-2 for WGP Singapore with the previous topper, I think Red Fucker. This guy frankly just keeps winning with his deck, and it's gotten to a point where, you know, I have no idea why. Most Chronojet players that I know have just hung up and gone back to Jollibee to work their part-time job, but for some reason this guy just won't stop winning, and he's even going overseas just to play this damn deck. So clearly something is wrong. Hello, thank you so much, Mr. mcrafter3000, for coming back. I'm sorry to trouble you once again. Can you tell us why this deck is good?
Is this deck still considered a budget deck?
No, clearly not. You have 300,000 yen worth of generics in this deck, so you may.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Last time I checked Dark Stage generics, they weren't that expensive anymore.
Well, things have changed, and we hope to cover them with you today. So, our right deck is still the faithful Chronojet. Of course, he's still the best boy in the deck. Everything else in this deck is some weird-ass abomination horror that has some historical past to 2015 where they were like a war criminal or some terrorists. But yeah, he's still a happy tourism boy. Grade 1's Mazer Gear Dragon. Mazer Gear Dragon establishes the crest. If you know nothing about Chronojet, please just watch another Chronojet video, because this one is a bit in-depth, I will be honest. This one, it assumes you already know what Chronojet does in standard, okay? The grade 2, Smoke Gear Dragon. Smoke Gear, right? Smoke Gear Dragon, he searches your deck for grade 3 when rolled upon by the great Chronojet Dragon. Same skill since 2014, I won't describe it. If you don't know, just Cardfight Wiki, it's pretty good this time of year. Moving on to the grade 3s, we play 3 Chronojet with 1 in the right deck, so you've got 1 of every art. Wow, you really do have money. We also play 3 Noctalgio. Interesting, I used to play 4. And then we play 2 copies of the promo order Footsteps Through Time, which has been reprinted as a promo again. So yeah, this one saved a lot of money, I've heard. But tell us why you're back on these cards in the first place.
No, as in, okay, so we'll just get Nostalgia, the obvious ones out of the way. So because we play Chronojet because we need to go in Chrono Dragon next stage, and we play Nostalgia because it's a strike deck set. So I think.
But it's also because you know, the right beat and whatnot. Right?
Jeju Magnus fans, I'm very sorry. I think you are not throwing this guy out anytime soon. So I'm very sorry for your loss. So for Footsteps Through Time, it's a recent development with the deck that they have gone away from random soul charge in Dark States altogether. So you want to try and do as much as much targeted soul charge as well as targeted deck thinning as possible. So instead of playing aggro pieces like 400 Voltis or playing the more like things like Swirler, GG and stuff like that, you're now going more into a turn 3 axis where you want to play Chronojet in a way that you can win going first or second. So that's why you can play Footsteps Through Time, because Footsteps it's a grade 3 normal order that says that for Counterblast 1, when you play it, you can choose one of your rear guards or 1 card in your soul and put it back to your deck. There is so it has to be a non-sentinel if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
Does it need to be non-sentinel?
It's just
no, it doesn't.
Normal unit.
You can choose anything. Yeah, just any card in your rear guard circle or your soul, you can put it back to your deck, which means it includes your over trigger, includes any perfect guard, you can put it back, and you call a card that is grade +1 of that unit to the rear guard circle, and for that turn, the unit that is called has its GB ability. It basically fulfills the generation break condition of that card without actually needing to fulfill the GB condition. So let's say you have Demon Breath Dragon. So let's say you chose a grade 1 and you put the grade 1 back to that and you call Demon Breath. Glimmer Breath has a Generation Break 3 effect. That GB3 effect will be live as soon as he's caught onto the field. Because full step through time unlocks the Generation Break ability no matter what.
Oh, so every Generation Break, including GB3, you just get it?
Yeah.
Off a guy.
So for Glimmer Breath, yes, it will work.
That is quite devastating going first, right?
Because it says here that the Generation Break ability is not it doesn't consider the cards face up in your G zone, but it will just unlock the Generation Break ability. So the plus 10k for Glimmer Breath will activate immediately as soon as you go first.
That's a 25k beat stick.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And then the second effect is also the reason why this card is also very strong, because in the late game, Chronojet A does become very Color Blast heavy.
Right.
So for all of the all of the strike deck sets will get this promo that when this order card is discarded for the cost of strike, you may choose your heart or your G unit, and the next time you pay an ability for that unit, you minus the Color Blast cost by 1. So now notice that this doesn't say auto ability. Right. So originally originally I thought it was auto ability, but then actually it turns out there was actually one tournament match where it mattered that this doesn't consider auto ability, which is that you can make your Chronos command skill completely free.
Right, because you can save that skill anyway. So
yeah.
Any one of your G zone units that have a CB1 skill, which spoiler,
they all do.
It's everybody.
Yeah.
So you can just carry the discount to whichever skill you actually want to use it for in 3.
Yeah.
So it does play without being CB denied.
Yeah. So this just turns any of your strikes free or your Chronojet Heart ability free. Let's say like if it's very important you need to send the Trick Moon back, then it's completely free.
That is really good.
Yeah. So this is definitely not as universal as the Messiah, as Advent of Genesis, but I think for what it's worth, especially with the way that the deck is built right now, I think full step through time is actually very important to help Chronojet tide through the very, very strong grade 3 turn that you need to have as a DivineZ deck. Especially in a format where you have to fight Basagra, which is one of the strongest like turn 3s in this game has seen in the last 13 years.
Well, I would disagree because my good friend Mordred Phantom will have a word with you.
Yeah.
But I would definitely agree.
It's
with
close.
you
On
the points. On the points at hand, I definitely agree because that this is what it does. But would you go through the combo here or later on in the video?
You can go through because this needs you to understand what the pieces are. So I think it's okay. For now, you just need to know that there is a way that this order they can let you 2-box out anything that is grade +1 in your soul or your regular circle.
Which we will go through the combo.
Yeah.
Because there is some really cool new combos you can play with this deck that I think is worth mentioning. For our grade 2s, of course, we have the return of Mr. Smoke Gear Dragon. He's still around. 2 copies of Glimmer Breath. My boy! People doubted him. He's back for good. Sadly at 2 copies. But then again, you can 2-box this deck with frightening accuracy now. We have 1 twin class. You know, competitive player wants to stay alive. Surprise. 4 copies of Mr. Upstream Dragon. You know, Upstream Dragon, it's been 10 years since I first met you, and I still hate you. And then, of course, we have the Dark States Ace unit, which we did a whole video on, by the way. Yeah, this one, not much explanation, but if you want to go through the whole thing.
So, upstream, I think I don't need to explain. The upstream will only make more sense once we go through the grade 1 options, but I think for now, just he is still the staple aggro piece of the deck.
He's still the play starter.
And full step through time only makes him stronger because his GB1 effect is active on the first grade 3 turn.
So you play upstream on the first grade 3 turn with full step through time?
You can, if you want.
Do you?
It's up to you. Usually, actually, you don't choose upstream, but it is an option, yes.
Okay, that's fair.
Then for Glimmer Breath is a card that came out last year in DZ BTO 6.
In December.
So he was in the previous deck profile, but I will just explain again that when placed, if your Vanguard, if you have a Chronojet Dragon Crest, you get color +1, draw a card.
Yes.
And if your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater,
he gains 5.
He gains 5k for the turn.
Yes.
And then Generation Break 3 is when he attacks, he gains 10k.
If your opponent's unit has gone back to the bottom of the deck.
Yeah.
If any unit has gone back to the bottom of the deck.
Yeah, so either yours or your opponent's.
Yeah, so Glimmer Breath is Vibatsuka!
Yeah, so it's an aggro piece, and also he helps you type back early game because this deck will deck in quite aggressively, so you can just use his counter blast quite normally, it's okay. Then you will just try to heal out of it, or you have your 1 counter charge in the entire deck that you can try to use if you need to emergent, if your opponent damage denies you after you use this effect, because you have a way to 2-box any grade 1 you out of this deck. Yeah, so Glimmer Breath is pretty good. I think the more that we have taken Fort Rebeltis out of the deck, the more that Glimmer Breath has become more in demand, but we still only play him as 2 because he is not upstream.
And he's techable, right? Yeah. You can search him too.
And we have the best grade 2 to have ever graced this nation, which is the Dark States Ace unit. This guy is like the most insane card that's ever been printed in this nation.
I talked about him in the 4th new video, but I feel you would be more in depth to be able to talk about it since you play this thing competitively. What are the implications of this card in Chronojet?
Okay, I'll just go through his effect again. So when he plays, he gets 5k. No, when he plays outside of battle phase, he gets 5k.
Unique skill.
Yeah, so that's his unique skill. So you're gonna use it once per game, and after he gets 5k, you may energy blast 3. You look at the top 7 cards in your deck. You choose any card from among them and reveal it, put into your soul, and then you choose one card from your soul, any card, and call it to Vanguard Circle. And same grade or equal to your Vanguard, and call it to your Vanguard Circle. So he essentially lets you soul charge anything you want from top 7, and then call anything you want from your soul. So even if you see this guy on turn 2, if you top 7 and find a Philia, you can just call it out. If top 7 find GG, you can call it out.
So it's an even better form of this.
Every turn afterwards, you can just call any card you want that you have used in your soul, you can just call it back out.
So it's just a better form of this.
Yes, it's better because it uses energy, yes.
Ah.
Yeah, and also because it doesn't blind soul charge, so you don't end up losing your triggers as well.
You're over trigger.
Yeah. So
but that's not a problem because you can just use footsteps through time and send it back.
Yeah, so he is, if you haven't had a chance to use him yet that game, actually he is the best target for footsteps.
Oh!
Yeah, because you can just, he's just an auto toolbox out.
So how does it work? So
no, you just send any grade 1 from your soul or your Vanguard Circle back to the deck and then you just call him. That's it.
But it's an omni search, right? So you can just search through the whole deck on turn 3. So you can open the ace unit 100% on turn 3.
If you have footsteps, yes.
Which is a hard mulligan, right?
It depends on the matchup. It's a nice thing to have, but I think honestly it's like, if you see it, you see it. If you don't see it, it's like it's still, you can still win the game. Because the good thing about the ace unit is that no matter when you see him in the game, it's usually good. It's usually good, yes.
That's true.
And his second skill is technically live for Chronojet, but it's a bit complicated. Is that when he attacks, if your opponent is grade 3, he gets another 5k, and you have either if you have 6 soul or you have soul blasted 3 or more cards this turn, he gets another additional 5. And you don't have to soul blast 3 at the same timing. You just have to soul blast in total during the turn. So the only way that you can do this, either you use 2 GG in the same turn, or on your first strike turn you use Smoke Gear, Soul Blast 1, and then you use 1 GG for a total Soul Blast 3. Yeah, so that's how you can get the extra 5k condition. So he is actually a very strong attacker that it counterbalances your upstream. Because your upstream is usually the thing that you're going to be calling back for your Fate Rider. So he's actually very, very strong. It's just a solo
attacker.
30k attacker with the crest.
Damn.
Yeah. And you will have a Philia behind it, so you'll be 43.
I may need to extend the script for this Google document. Our grade ones we still play, of course.
Yeah, this is gonna be the longer segment. The grade ones are definitely gonna.
Well,
be
don't cry.
Segment.
We still have the strike deck to go through. And now
the Gizo's not gonna take that long.
We have 3 Philia.
Yeah.
1 Darkseid's Cat. This one's still your compulsory counter charger.
I'll miss.
2 copies of Miss GG.
Steam Scala GG.
4 PG, including 1 Sanctitude, because this is a strike deck set. 3 for color. My Magnus brothers. I hope you have bought this card. It's basically just painkiller.net. This is just a painkiller, and it gives you additional energy. 1, which is alright. 3 copies of Clockwise. We've talked about Clockwise at length, no pun intended, for a few times already. So basically, when you discard a card from your hand, you can just pay the EB3 when this card's in the drop zone, remove it from the game, and add it back to your hand. So you can loop your strike fodder, you can loop your right fodder, you can loop anything you discard.
And he's also
on place, he's a handy 10k beat stick.
He's also the only random soul charge we are left playing this deck. So
which is good.
It's okay. I think if you find the combo in your hand that is 1 Clockwise and 1 GG, then I think it's still not bad, because you can make a GG solo, and you can have a column with your Vanguard that is a 18k column on the very first grade 1 turn. It's really not bad.
And now for the most dangerous card in this deck.
So we have we have the
Gear Parrot.
Yeah, Gear Parrot. So Gear Parrot is the newest card that came out in Festival Collection 2025. So it's a double rare for both time stamping and Chronojet, and I think it helps both decks equally. But I think Chronojet, because the firepower is so much stronger in Chronojet, I think it's automatic is going to make Chronojet better than time stamping.
Very, very frankly speaking, I don't know how this card got through QA.
So the continuous effect is that if your Vanguard is a Gear Dragon, he gains all of the following abilities. So he says when placed, he doesn't, the first effect doesn't care about the grade. So when placed on Vanguard Circle, doesn't need to be, it does.
Do you want me to read this?
Yeah, doesn't it can be in any phase. You choose one non-sentinel one non-sentinel normal unit from your drop zone and put it back to the deck, and then he gains plus, and put it at the bottom of the deck, he gains +5.
Yep.
Yeah, so any non-sentinel normal unit, it can be your strike fodder, it can be your upstream, it can be your Glimmer Breath, it can be your ace unit, it can be anything. You can just put it back and then it gains 5.
For free.
Yeah, for free. It's absolutely free.
Why? I have no idea. Why they printed this, but
Yeah, I don't know. I genuinely
like
don't
this
know.
basically means that this strike deck set will never run out of gas. Like Luat has his strike skill, you know, like Messiah will deck out, Night Rosama will deck out, Harry obviously will deck out knowing him. But this means that Chronojet, as long as you just keep one of this guy in your arsenal somewhere, and remember, Gear Chronicle has a lot of ways to call cards from decks and from soul and from drop. Like you can now just loop forever. You will never deck out. As long as you play this card correctly, you never deck out, which is insane. Like, I don't know. But the audacity of this card is not even in this skill. It's the next skill.
Okay, then the second ability is that when this card is put back to the deck, either through it's either put it back to the deck or is bound. If your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, you either counter blast 1 or energy blast 3, and you can draw 1, and then you choose one of your units and it gives +5.
So now, not only do you get a returning gun cycler, you now get the +5k after this guy has finished being a 13k attacker or booster in the deck that already tells you you are allowed to send whoever you want back to the deck.
Oh, so okay.
Just to beat up again.
Yes.
For free.
For energy blast 3.
But the draw is energy.
The energy is free, yes.
But like the power, the recycling, it's all free. All you have to do is just attend Vanguard side, pay 100 yen and you get this.
Yeah.
That is insane. How? I'm out of words for this card. Frankly, I didn't even know this card was that good. Like I was testing Chronojet before this card came out, and afterwards, then after you almost won WGB Singapore, I was like, hey, what's the source? And this was the one card. Like in a deck where the average cost of Dark Stage generics is like 4,000 yen, you're telling me this guy is the difference maker. This little, can I curse, piece of shit? Like, oh my, I don't know. Kidani, ban this next year. I don't care what it takes. No shrine deck you're allowed to go infinite. No. Oh, and do you want to tell them about the EB3 combo with upstream? Are you gonna?
I mean, it's okay.
Are you gonna tell them that yet?
Okay, I guess because there's really because this card is the main thing that you're replacing this card with. It's the main thing that you don't really use. So you only use an energy in this deck is the ace unit, parrot, and clockwise.
That's
so it. Yeah, but generally you would the way that this guy not only works with Fate Rider, it not only works with upstream because you can use upstream to call this guy. Yeah, so basically like you can attack with upstream, and the upstream goes back, and then you call this guy, and then this guy puts any card from your drop zone back to the bottom of the deck. You put your any non-sentinel normal unit from your drop. So you can't put back your order. You can't put back your order, but you can put anything else that's not a sentinel back to the deck. And then it becomes a 13k booster, but it won't matter because then you're just gonna immediately send this guy back to call upstream back for Fate Rider
for free.
And then so normally the reason why your first Fate Rider turn used to be so lackluster is that you didn't have this. Is that it would usually just be a maximum 15k guard.
Right.
Then this guy goes back. Then you call him back again. Then he's a 15k guard again.
Yep.
Then only your column on the left, only your other column is usually quite big because you're gonna call a booster for your other column.
Which is traditionally something like the previously mentioned Philia, or even the GGs from long ago.
Yeah.
Like you could still keep them in circulation.
So normally this would be like maximum like 30k. So previously, Chronojet used to be laughed at for having like one of the worst first strike of any strike deck set ever.
I'm sorry. I like to take a check on that. How much? How much to do 3 attacks, please?
Previously, like it was a pretty lackluster first strike turn. But now the fact that your Gear Parrot can make your upstream a 20k guard, as well as also giving you an extra draw. It means that you have your triple drive, you have your extra draw from not only your GG, your Philia, and also your Gear Parrot. That basically means that you have +7 in a single turn So they can potentially draw quite a lot of shield from that.
And by the way, you did nothing for that.
You pay 3 energy.
You just played the game.
Yeah.
It's the same gameplay since 2022. You just bought one manga, attended one event, and kept the card again. And you now get +6. It's... I don't know. Like, I don't know, man. Like... I can't justify it. Negrobone has to at least die once and then you call it back. But this thing is just for free. Wherever you want. Every card. Forever. So... yeah, you know what? Maybe this is how you want WGP. Not from your skills, from your cards, mate.
Yeah. Okay, then for the rest of the great ones, because I think we have spent more than enough time talking about the power of Gear Parrot.
Which great one do we need to highlight? We talked about
we can just talk about it. Clockwise is done, yeah.
Yeah, we talked about Clockwise, we talked about Parrot.
Yeah.
We don't talk about Four Color, but it's just Painkiller, right?
Yeah. No, for Solo is very strong because, like I said, there's a lot of things that Energy Blast 3 in this deck. So they have inherent synergy with Force Law. And the good thing about Force Law is that if you go second, actually she has very, very strong combo, which is that immediately as soon as you place her from hand, she energy charges 1. Which if you go second, you go exactly to 7 energy, which means you can do the EV7 draw. And her second skill only needs you to Energy Blast 3 or more that turn.
Right.
Which means that the Energy Blast 7 counts, the Energy Blast 7 for the generator counts as an EB3 or more.
Yes.
Which means that if your hand is just happens to be 3 Force Law, you can just call all 3 of them and you have draw 3 on your first grade 2 turn.
And if you have Philia, whom you know is already a 13k beat stick, and you can just move the soul and draw again. Which means most of your great ones in this deck directly refund themselves.
Yeah.
In one way or another.
And previously, you know, the thing but more is that previously with the strategy, you know, you'll be like, oh, I wasted all my Force Law early game.
Not anymore! Everything goes back to the deck. No problem. Just do what you want. Your taxes are paid, your wives are well fed, whatever you need, just play. It's so free. On place, just win the game.
Yeah. And then another problem that we used to have with this deck, which is because of Philia, is that, you know, usually Chronojet cannot bomb the entire field in a single turn. So there's a lot of decks that can counter Chronojet in terms of that your Philia wouldn't be live. So you'll be forced to go into your Force Law and your GG, which are net negatives, because one stays on the field, which is just free fodder for Basagra, and the other one doesn't gain any power. So now, thanks to us playing Footsteps through time, you can have the best of both worlds.
You can now just do it.
Yeah.
You can just choose. You just scan the deck and do it. Like previously, we did in the previous deck profile, we talked about how Chronos Command enabled Philia, right? Like Chronos Command nukes the whole board, and then after you go into Philia, and then you can enable the free draw because Chronos Command ensures that you have no rear guards for your opponent, so the condition's clear. Now, if you just don't want to force Chronos Command and you prefer to still go back to something like Necro Stage, you can now just thin out either target you want, and if you're out of the target, you know, just don't cry. Don't need to worry about it. Just look for it. It's that simple. This whole deck solved itself, which is why I have no idea why this is still not doing, like, you know, it's not like the best in format, it's not Basagra, but like it is still pretty good, right? You gotta admit. So yeah, I don't know. Now the rest of the deck is pretty simple. It's just like the PGs that we mentioned, and one counter charger, which is the Dark State's Cat, which is a must play. You only need one, okay? Because you just need to burn the 2 soul and counter charge. Now, the reason why I can tell you to play 1 is because previously you may want to play 2, because if you lose the cat, right? If you couldn't thin out your deck in time, or if you couldn't call in time, no pun intended, you lose your counter charge overall, and that means you're locked to only 4 activations of your Vanguard's abilities, i.e. you lose the game very quickly. Not anymore. Now, if you just need to discard the card to ride, or had to guard an important attack that had a guard restrict, i.e. Die Kaiser, or God knows anything else, if you lose any key piece, pop the baby, goes back to the deck. No problem. Like, you know how a lot of decks that we talk about on this channel, especially rogue decks, they are very piece reliant. This is piece. This is the opposite of piece reliant. This is piece nonchalant. This shit does not care. If you run out of the card, it will come back. Which is maybe why, in the original Japanese, this card is called Immortal and Eternal Gear Parrot. I know in English they call it Gear Parrot of Eternal Glory. Thank you, Cardfight Wikia. But maybe it is true. Gear Chronicle really is eternal and immortal. And you know what? I don't want to stay in this world much longer. For our grade zeros, our remaining grade zeros.
Zero? No, it's not zero.
Our grade zeros are... Hold on. What? Oh, here. We lost it. They almost were not internal. One Chrono Dren. This one still stays the same. Okay, yeah, you wanna go through that slowly?
Yeah, so it's 4 heal because it just wants. I don't think this deck needs to play counter heals because I think this deck is okay on shield value.
Yeah.
There are some games it's get a bit dicey, but those games are just the super low roll for this deck.
Again, you're playing for variety, and strike deck sides do have a variety of matchups,
Yeah.
so it
And
is
then
safer.
I think the more 5k shield triggers you can play, the better, because there are some matchups that you have to call them down just to kill people. So I think
For sure.
Yeah. So
Like you all remember Chrono supporting Chronojet with Uluru, and then he won, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's what all Chronojet players
Then he
need.
played 3 effect fronts because I think this deck definitely draws enough. So I think
for
don't
sure.
play draws anymore. And he plays the blue OT, so I think Armes is very up in arms about the OT choice for this deck. But I 100% feel that blue OT is the way for Chronojet, because even though you have Gear Parrot, even though you have 100% peace reliance,
Peace nonchalancy. I'm calling it
peace
now.
luxury for most of the game, there are some pieces that you die need to take back to hand and not just put back in the deck.
Like
so
Perfect
things like
Guard.
your PG, your Strike Fodder, your
Chronojet Persona.
Perfect Guards, anything that needs to keep you alive, that's not just for you to play the game, you need to have you need the blue OT.
Okay.
Yeah, and also because the Dark States OT is going to a unit that the most good players are already going to PG, or they're going to heavily guard it, which is your Vanguard.
Yeah.
So the fact that the Dark States OT is just adding on more pressure to a unit that already has a lot of pressure is completely meaningless.
The thing is, and I still will make my case for it. First of all, if you're a budget player, there's no harm in playing the Dark States OT, right? Every OT is still an OT. This one, if you check it early, it's even stronger. If you check in later game, it is a free 10k 1 crit. It does help. But in your setting, because you play high level tournaments and you do fight a lot of closer matchups, yeah, I could make the argument for Eidos Farah, but I would say I've seen Chronojet players play the purple OT for some weird reason, and they're like, oh, I need the heal, and you know what, sure, if you're Eternal and Immortal, why not just heal more?
You can just check.
Just check crits.
You have nine crits, you just win.
Yeah, I mean,
just win something.
as Mark Ishii once said, mark my Ishis. So yeah, I don't think this is very difficult. Don't question this. It has to be a crit. If you don't play a crit, bad things will happen to you. And Chrono Dren, let us open the door to the future together. Let us see your Great Force. So we still have next stage, Chronos Command, and Fate Rider alongside the Crest. That's our G zone. So this G zone is the same. It's the same since the previous deck profile in DZ BTO 6. The only thing is that right now we have solidified in Iron, in Caststone, that we will play 12 G zone cards. You know how previously in December, a lot of professional players, they were like, oh, I want to play 8 cards. I don't want them to know that, I'm an advanced strike deck set. Screw it. We are going Immortal, we are going Eternal, we are going to set crits, we are going to beat people to death. Just let them know we're here, right? Next stage is still our ultimate Persona Strike, which is not applicable much anymore, but in a few games where you need to break past and, just check as many crits as you need to, this is it, right? Next stage also gives you the opportunity to play into one of the oldest card decks in the format, Chronojet Dragon, whose GB2 does prevent your opponent from gunning with grade 1 or higher cards from the hand. Again, in a world with Blitz Orders and Balsagra Shield, it don't matter too much. But in some matchups, this is absolutely game warping. Like 100-0, complete reversal, you win now. So that's still why I would still recommend you to play Next Stage. I know a lot of people online hate Next Stage. Like, they say it's not a good card, but I'll tell you, it's so fun.
Still waiting for the day
It's
we
so
get Chronojet Dragon G.
You don't deserve it. And of course, Fate Rider. Fate Rider is still your first strike. So between your first strike and your last strike, nothing much has changed fundamentally. Fate Rider is still your on attack CB1, bot deck one of your rear guards, timely pay into one stronger of +1 grade, call it to rear guard circle, and then for every card face up in your G zone, you choose one of your rear guards against 5000 power. When Fate Rider does this ability, he does pay 1 G blast, which means turn out one card and face up in G zone. Next stage it doesn't, but both him and Chronos Command do. Make sure when
only Farah does.
Eh?
Only
Oh, he flips up Chronos Command.
Yes.
Right. So make sure you flip Chronos Command because Chronos Command checks the number of Chronos Command face up the G zone. Right.
Yes.
So only he does the G face up. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. But you know what? Small price to pay. Command, as we already did the entire video on, he's very simple. He's literally the same as Fate Rider, but he stores it as a passive red text. He also gives you the ability to nuke your opponent's board straight up. Just send all of the opponent's regards back to the bottom of the deck. So it bypasses resist, but if your opponent has a ladder or anything that prevents the unit from leaving the rearguard circle, for example, Grand Fear, you don't get that.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the unfortunate part of this deck. But in every other case, if you fight something as pathetic as say Hostage Night Rose, he's dead meat. He's just dead meat. You're just gonna take all his PGs away. He's not gonna do anything. You win. It's just that simple. I do talk a lot more about the Chronos Command in the previous deck profile. And frankly, most of the Chronojet cards, I don't go into much detail here for the sake of me and Mr. M Crafter, is because we've already covered this on this channel like a million times. We've done a Chronojet video, I dare say, every year. Like, this is a yearly tradition.
Actually been every year.
Yeah, it's like every year we do this thing. So, you know what? I think that's a beautiful segue into this deck.
Okay, but the only thing is that I want to add on addendum is that for both Fate Rider and Chronos Command, they obviously have interaction with Gear Parrot. Especially, so something that we didn't cover is that Fate Rider, like I said before, is that if you do the upstream into Parrot into upstream, then Parrot obviously will trigger. You can have Parrot trigger twice. Technically, but only his draw will trigger once because you're only putting back one card. You're only putting back you're only putting one Parrot back to the deck. But there actually was one game that I did win because I had a Parrot to call as a 13k booster. Because there's actually quite some scenarios that you cannot play the order and you don't have enough soul for GG because you need to use soul for other things.
Okay.
And so Parrot is just having Parrot as a completely free 13k booster. I think is so you can see the running team with Parrot. The fact that he's very free means that he's very flexible, and then just having a 13k booster on the field already makes him very strong in terms of the numbers that he can output for Fate Rider. And for Chronos Command, it's even better because he can just choose anything to give it the red text to send it back to deck and then call something. So you can just give it to the Parrot.
What? The Parrot from last turn?
No, I mean you can just call the Parrot from your hand and then give the red text to the Parrot, and the Parrot will send himself to the bottom of the deck, and then that will trigger the draw one.
And then you get a call one as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we end this video, for all the Yu-Gi-Oh players out there, I'm sure they will be thinking of this question: can you send Parrot for Parrot?
Yes.
Welcome back to Element format. Welcome home. So yeah, I think that wraps up the Chronojet deck profile for 2025 / it's kind of more of an explanatory video if you think about it. Frankly, I first of all, in case I wasn't clear, a heartiest congratulations to your wins in the past 6 months, 8 months. It is insane. Frankly, most Chronojet players I know that used to play back in my day are either already dead or in a mental hospital. So I wonder if you'll stay around for another 10 years. Secondly, and more importantly, I'm surprised that, for a deck that some people even classify as a rogue or bad deck in today's terms in standard, that, you're still able to win just with a whole bunch of differently printed cards from Kidani. But it is still pretty insane. I didn't think of half of these interactions, frankly. When I was playing it myself, I still thought, I was trying this in April 2025, and I was like, oh, this deck is still pretty okay. No, Ace unit, this thing, everything else just comes out, and now there's like different synergies to the point that we even now play Glimmer Breath as a 2-off tech, where people used to tell me, oh, you have to play 4/4 Revoltis now. It's insane that out of so little cards printed in a short amount of chronological time, no pun intended, that so much development can come out of one deck that, frankly, I'm lost for words. Besides this guy being audaciously, in need of being on the bandit soon, I am frankly very impressed. I do think Chronojet is definitely scarier than what most people have made it out to be this year. Like, back in 2022, this was like best in format. Then 2023, pretty okay. But by 2024, it's like, it wasn't really all that round. Even in December, when Chronos Command came out, I dare say either you or like 1 to 2 other people were probably the only people in Japan playing this deck, right? Like, I can't think of more than 5 Chronojet players who were playing this at top tables in events in December.
In 2024, I think Messiah definitely was
better.
Much better.
Yeah, so yeah, frankly, I am blown away. Thank you so much for coming down to do this. What do you think Chronojet will get in the future? If this deck even deserves to get
Can you
more
just please
support?
change my Vanguard? Can you just please not play this guy anymore? There's so many games. My hand is like 5 grade zeros, and I cannot do anything for like the whole turn. If I don't, I have 1 upstream and 5 grade zeros in my hand. I just need
Power.
Chronojet Dragon G
You just need
to
power.
not to unbrick some of these hands that this deck cannot get out of. Because this deck just completely bricks, it has no pieces in hand, just cannot do anything.
But how common does it happen? Like one
It's completely wishful thinking, but I just hope that they give it something to unbrick itself. Then if it's not Chronojet Dragon G, then I hope it's like another, like it's not a generic. Because if it's a generic, then I have to take another loan.
It's alright. I won't be lending you any money. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you all next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.